Hello.
Hello, Jeff.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I didn't shave. This is the new look over here. People are growing and stuff. Oh, you're
And me
outside.
have a hat and something for the rain because the weather is not really nice
Well,
in Bordeaux today.
I appreciate you making the effort. So we'll just chat lightly until 10 o'clock, and then I will ask you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
But Celine is on here, Celine de la Valle.
Yes. Hello to Selena.
And then Shelley Cartland, who works with the CIVB, and she's out in California, but she's on here.
Oh, nice.
All right, so it's 10 o'clock. If you would introduce yourself, please.
Okay, so my name is Armelle Cruse. I'm one of the owners of the Chateau du Taillan, which is a Cru Bourgeois exceptional since February 2020. And I do manage this winery since 1992 with 4 of my sisters.
Okay.
Because it's a woman wine winery.
And has this been in your family? Did you grow up at this chateau?
Yes, yes, we were. This chateau has been. Maybe I can show you the chateau.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Why don't we look around in case it rains, then you can go back inside. But while you're outside, let's look around.
So it's okay. It's windy, but it's not so rainy. So this chateau has been in my family. I show it to you. Has been in my family for 1890 since 1896, and so I'm the fourth generation. It's a very nice place. We are lucky. The chateau is typical from Bordeaux, 18th century.
I didn't hear the last bit. I think the wind blocked you out. About the chateau?
The chateau is from the 18th century, and I'm the 4th generation taking care of this chateau.
It's gorgeous. Now, are you in the front or the back?
I'm in the back, so you can see the vineyard right there. I'm sorry, it's a little bit foggy too.
But gorgeous.
We have 32 hectares of vines.
Okay.
Yes. So, and we produce about 10,000 cases of white and 10,000 and 2,000 cases of 10,000 cases of red Chateau du Taillan and 2,000 cases of white Chateau la Dame Blanche. So you see, it's a nice place.
That is lovely.
So I come back, Jeff. Yes.
Yes. There we go. Beautiful.
So
go ahead.
Maybe we can walk to the cellars because we have a very cellar that you have told to me. We have a very unique cellar here, an old cellar. So it can be interesting to see the cellar.
Yes, I would love that. So I visited the chateau, but I don't think you were there. I met you at a different cellar, but I did see your cellar.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
No, I think we didn't met when you came. Who did you come with?
The Cru Bourgeois trip a couple years ago with Colangelo. So we met in someone else's cellar for a tasting, but when we visited the Du Taillan, you were not there.
I'm very much involved in the Cru Bourgeois family. You know that because I belong to the board of the Cru Bourgeois, and I'm the vice president taking care of the promotion. So I'm very, very involved with this family, and we have done a lot of things since a few years on promotion. And I was in New York last March at Vinexpo.
Okay. So I do want to talk more about Cru Bourgeois because I think a lot of people don't understand that. But can you talk about your appellation and in general where you are?
Yes. So the Chateau du Taillan is Haut-Médoc appellation, and we are very south of the Médoc. We are very close to the town Bordeaux, and the terroir is made of clay and calcareous with some gravel, but we are not very typical of the Médoc region like Pauillac and everything, as we have more clay and calcareous than in our terroir. So I do grow more Merlot than Cabernet Sauvignon according to my to my terroir.
And then how and where did your family decide to plant the white grapes?
Oh, the white grapes have always been in here in Chateau du Taillan because because of our location, we are very close. We are the first winery coming from the Grave region. And at 1 century ago, we used to be close to the Grave region. And you know that in the Grave region, you have some red and some white. So there was a tradition to produce some white wine here. And I have just kept the tradition for.
I see. And why is the white not called Chateau du Taillan? It's La Dame Blanche.
La Dame Blanche, because, you know, I just took after my father and I didn't have La Dame Blanche was the name of the chateau. You have seen the chateau with this white stone. And so I didn't have the feeling to change it.
I see.
So this is why we have kept, and there is a legend with La Dame Blanche too.
Oh.
There's a legend with a princess and everything. And it goes well with the cellars. So we arrive in the cellar, so I changed it if you want, so you can see how different it is.
Okay. So I will say ooh and ah. If you don't hear me, that means we lost the connection.
Yes. Okay. You won't see, I hope. So you see, it's a very old cellar from the 16th century. It's quite unusual, huh?
Yeah.
So I have to.
So if you can hear me,
wine in barrels, and you see that underground we have all the barrels of the Chateau du Taillan, and it's historical monument. That's why it's quite. So when you see this cellar, you don't forget it because it's quite unusual.
You don't forget it.
Yeah, just go to the, to the stairs so you can have a nice view. Tell me if you have the connection still.
I still can see, yeah.
So
because the walls are very thick there, so I'm surprised we can still hear you.
Yeah. So you see with the vaulted, and this place has always been done for wine. Huh? So I just kept, so you see the moisture on the wall, you have 100% of humidity, and it's always cool all year long. And this is why I receive a lot of people coming to visit. Oh, sorry, you see my dog, he's always with me.
That's the best. Now, how do the barrels get down there? Is there a ramp further in the cellar that we can't see?
Yes. There is a ramp, and there is yes. Because it's quite big, a lot of battlements. So yes, there is a ramp. We move the barrels.
That's just gorgeous. I mean, it's so stunning. You don't see that very often. It's so big too. Was it used for something else in the past?
No, this battlement has always been for wine. Has been dug for wine. Now I use it as reception place. I do have some tasting rooms, because wine and tourism is quite important here because of this historical monument, and because of the Bourgeois, and because of the fact that we are not far from Bordeaux and everything. I do receive a lot of people. I'm very much involved in that too, because I think that, to receive people and to let the people come to the winery. So I know that in the United States, it's quite usual, but in France, it was not always the case. Now it's coming more and more. So I'm very well organized to receive people for the tasting. I just go to the tasting room to show you how we, how do I work. I do have a team who works with me because we have quite a few people. But I didn't.
And does it?
Yes.
Does the proximity to the city of Bordeaux make you easier to receive guests, or it doesn't matter because people take buses or they drive out? How do they get to you?
They get to me. Yes, it's easy from Bordeaux. It's easy. It's 15 minutes from downtown. So I'm very, very lucky with that. And then, so that's why I'm organized.
Okay, yeah.
And so,
that's
but
great.
I've learned everything in California. When I was a student, I went to California. So just redone it. You see?
Yeah, I always feel that having a glass of wine from a place is sharing in, if you can't be there, having a glass. And so I think it's very important that people can visit the chateau. It makes a huge impact.
Yes, I think it's important, you know, especially for your country, because in the United States, I do sell quite a few bottles. I do have an importer, and my wine are distributed there. And I think when you are an American and you have bought a bottle of Chateau du Taillan in New York or Boston or somewhere else, then if you come to France and you want to go to the Chateau, it's the least that I can do to receive the people and to welcome them. So it's you know, as we are lucky for that, you know, that the people are interested by our product and the story of the product.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Celine said to ask you about the legend of the Dame Blanche. Is that something you're okay to share?
I recognize well Celine.
So I think we have a little bit of a bad reception, maybe because you're inside.
Okay, yes, I'm inside. I can go outside. So La Dame Blanche, it was
if
a lady.
Possible.
Is it okay with this way? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a princess from Morocco, and she was married. She got married with the Prince of Aquitaine, the prince of this area, and she fell in love with him, and she came and settled down in the chateau with him. But he was a chevalier, you know, and he was not stopping. You know, he went to battle, different battle, and one time he got killed. And then, you know, that at that time in Morocco, when you had lost somebody, you were dressed in white always. It was the white color was the color of the, you know, of
mourning.
Yeah. And so she decided to get to stay dressed in white for the rest of her life. And this is why the people were calling her La Dame Blanche, the white lady. And nowadays, on some days, not like today, but some days in autumn, you have a, you know, a white fog on the vineyard, which is very nice, just covering the vineyards. Sometimes people say it's the coat of the vineyard. Here we say it's La Dame Blanche who comes back to wish the prosperity to the winery. So that's nice.
Beautiful. I like that a lot.
Yes.
But I just for people to know, when you make white wine, you don't call it Haut Medoc. You call it Bordeaux Blanc.
Exactly. Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit to people?
Yeah, the Medoc region is specialized in red wine, and there is not an appellation for white wine in the Medoc region. So when you produce some white wine, you go in the Bordeaux appellation. I can show you. There is a specification on Dame Blanche. I write on it Sauvignon Blanc. So just look for my bottles. And so it's 100% Sauvignon. La Dame Blanche is quite, has quite successful in, it's just, I show you the bottle. Là, voilà.
Yes.
And I write it Sauvignon Blanc. You see that, and so it is true that.
And I can post a picture later.
You see, and then there is something which goes together with the red. What they have in common is the horse. You have. My father used to.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm too high.
There you go.
You see, yes. And so
I see.
We used to have a tradition of horse here, and so we have kept it on the capsules as a souvenir of the horse things up here. Because Chateau du Taillan has a big
history
plant.
Is that because of the Chevalier? Or no, just the horses tradition?
Yes, it's a tradition. The Cruse family has, especially my father and grandfather, they were horse hunting, you know, and they used to breed horses. So when we took after, there was 45 horses here. So it's a big, it was a big. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So we have built the vineyards, and the horses, we have put them on the capsules. That's easier.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
So can you talk to us, tell us what Cru Bourgeois means, and it's evolved, and I know it changed recently.
Yes, Cru Bourgeois, it's a label of quality, and it means that it's a quality of wine, and we are a family of 249 wineries in the Médoc. Cru Bourgeois is a wine from the Médoc region, which has been classified by an independent board. And the last classification, the first one was in 1932, and the last one has been done in 2020, last February 2020. And it's one of the family of Bordeaux who put again in, I don't know how you say, who don't keep the classification forever.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the classification of Médoc, of Cru Bourgeois, is a classification that is not forever. You can repass this classification.
Okay.
And so the last one has been done for, we will be classified for 5 years. And what is interesting for this family is that to be a Cru Bourgeois, to be classified Cru Bourgeois or Cru Bourgeois supérieur or Cru Bourgeois exceptional, you have to be involved in the environment, protection of the environment through different things. For example, Chateau Taillan is high value environmental. It means that we are very much involved in protection of the environment and protection of the people around and the society things and everything. Then we go through a blind tasting of 5 vintages. That's brand new. It means that the people, they judge our wine blind tasting through an independent board, but through 5 vintages. It means that, sometimes a young wine shows fruity, light and fruity when it's very young, and then according when it ages, it just goes poof, because not very able for the aging. So when you take 5 vintages,
so they don't, I'm going to interrupt. They don't taste it every year for 5 years. They taste now and last year and last year and last year, so they see the ageability of it. Wow.
Exactly. And that's important because you see the style of the winery, because one year you can have an accident, or you can have something, in a good way or in a bad way. But on 5 years, you see the style of the vinification, and that's important. So then you can judge the quality of the winery. So it's more classification for wineries than for one vintage, you see.
I see.
And that's
to get the Cru Bourgeois, they must be certified HVE?
3, high level. Yes.
Okay,
they
because go ahead.
They must be engaged in these things. To be a Cru Bourgeois, they must be certified to be Cru Bourgeois supérieur and Cru Bourgeois exceptional.
Gotcha.
The classification has given the result, and there are 90 or 80 Cru Bourgeois, classified Cru Bourgeois. You have 52 Cru Bourgeois supérieur, and you have 14 Cru Bourgeois exceptional, and the higher you go, the stronger you have to respond to the different things. Environment, engagement,
and that will be on the label. So when people are in a store looking for a bottle, it can be overwhelming to look in the Bordeaux section. That's something to look for indication of quality.
Yes, it will begin with the vintage 2018.
Okay.
So the people, they won't find yet the 2018, because the 2018 is not bottled. Will be bottled in June. They will find it at the end of the year. They can. It will be written. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big adventure for us. Huh?
Yeah, I know, it's great. So I have a friend who's a journalist on here who says, why isn't it called Cru Bourgeois Médoc? Do consumers just need to know it's Médoc? Do consumers need to know it's Médoc?
Why? Because you're right. Because the Cru Bourgeois goes with the Médoc region. You only have Cru Bourgeois in the Médoc region. So we say Cru Bourgeois of the Médoc. We talk about the Cru Bourgeois of the Médoc.
You do.
But we write Cru Bourgeois because Cru Bourgeois of the Médoc can be a Margaux. It can be a Saint-Estèphe. You have 8 appellations, and you have Cru Bourgeois through the 8 appellations of the Médoc. So they are Cru Bourgeois of the Médoc region, but they are not Cru Bourgeois with the appellation Médoc.
Okay, that was a little confusing to me too. Cool. Okay, thank you. I want to ask, because you're on Instagram, and it seems everybody is now with the coronavirus especially. What are your thoughts about Chateau and winemakers on Instagram? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's a pain? Is it changing?
I'm sorry, I haven't understood your question exactly.
So do you are on Instagram and clearly good at it. Do you find value in it is it a good thing for you to connect with customers?
It's very good. Yes. I have help for that, but with my daughters, no. But I think it's very important. It's a way of communication now. We have to do this way. We must evaluate. It goes very fast, and it's important that to be on Instagram. It's very important, and to get used to it, to communicate every day. You do it every day. I think I've got three daughters, can you believe it? And they are all the time on Instagram. They even don't look at TV anymore, and they are all the time on all these things. So
Armelle, is it raining on you right now? If you need to go inside, please do. I don't want to ask you to stand in the rain. It's very
you see the rain. I know. It's raining and sunny, Alex. Okay.
There you go. That's beautiful. Thank you. Let's see. So one little question I had to ask. When I was there in your tasting room, you have the little glass vials of wine. People can buy a sample.
With wine in tube, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
I show it to you.
Because more and more people are tasting like this or on Zoom, and I wonder, is there a future in that for sending samples? Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And for sampling, that would be. It was the first target for this kind of wine in tube. It was the first target of the people who have created it. And me, I thought that for the visitors who come by plane, it's very interesting for them. So yes, wine in tube, and for sampling would be great. But you're on consumption, you cannot keep it, you just
sure.
Okay. Yes.
Because I have seen wineries sending out little bottles to journalists and such to taste, and there's more and more people tasting online in like Zoom and classes, and I just wonder if there's a future of that. Do you have any input or advice or thoughts on that?
I know I have for example, next week I do have this is very interesting. I do have a tasting online with some people who have asked, so they will have my wine at their home, and I will taste the same wine at the same time, and I will describe the wine when they taste. This is a good way that will be the first time.
Awesome. You please post your thoughts afterwards on your Instagram, or have your daughter post.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because I think it's a good way, because people want to learn about wine. If they cannot visit and come, if they cannot, then they can learn about tasting, and you can like what you are doing. I've seen you were in Mexico, and then that's really interesting.
It's how we travel now.
Yes.
But I have to say that right now we can't go anywhere, but very often you can't get to France every year or very often. And I think it's a great way to see and to connect. And for me to look at the vineyard is very optimistic because when this all went down, a friend of mine said, the vines don't stop. You have to keep going and maintaining the vineyards. And it's just optimistic.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful what you are doing, and it keeps the contact between the people and what we are doing, and because it's quite difficult to be I don't know how you say, to be stuck and not to be able to see people and to visit people. So it's a good way to keep the link, I think.
So what is happening this week in the vineyards, and how is it different from under Corona? Because people can be in the vineyards spread out, but I know life is different.
Alors, at the moment, for example, for the Chateau du Taillan, my team of in the vineyard, nothing is very different because they are working. They are not working together. They are each in their parcels, and they are not allowed to cross them. And they have lunch in their parcels, in their place. But we have a lot of work at the moment in the vineyard, and because the weather is kind of bizarre. We have heat. We had heat 1 week ago. Now it's very rainy. They announced heat for next week, so we have to be very close to the vineyard to have a look for the disease. We have a lot of pressure on disease and everything. And as when you are engaged in environment, you have to be careful. You cannot do like before. You cannot put product in the vineyard, so you have to be very careful with the mechanical way for the vineyard. It's not very difficult.
Okay.
Quite alone in the vineyard, in the office, because they are afraid. Either they have children and they need to keep them because the school is closed, or they are afraid to come, and so that's the way it is. But we wait for the 11th of May.
It's the 11th now, okay, because we were the 15th, and now Connecticut is the 20th, and I'm in Connecticut right now, so we'll see. I have one question from somebody, and then does Crus Bourgeois sell en primeur?
The Crus Bourgeois sell en primeur, yes, not all of them, but some of them. The Chateau du Taillan sells en primeur, but then this year it's quite an unusual year for the en primeur, because the people cannot make our wine tasted like we used to do, and even for the classified growth. So at the moment we are getting organized in order either to send some samples to people like you, in order them to have an idea of the vintage, and or to organize small groups, because you can be 10 people maximum.
Right.
Everything is shaped, and they are really thinking about it. But we have, the vineyard of Bordeaux, they need the en primeur to sell their wine. They need the future to sell their wine. The negociant, they need to get the wine. So they have to find a solution. And even if there is a delay, I think it's something they will have the en primeur. It's not so bad for the wine, because in April anyway, the wine are tasted from the barrel.
Right.
It's very young for a vintage to be tasted after just having 3 months in barrel. So it's not so bad to taste the vintage 3 months later, maybe, or 2 months later, because then the wine can go through, be more ready to be tasted.
Right. So that's good, at least.
Bad things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will let you go. Do you have anything else you want to say? It has been a true pleasure to see you. This project has been a great way to connect with people, and for me to learn about video editing. And I'm putting these videos on YouTube, so I will send you the link to that. So all my chats, vineyard chat, are on YouTube. So I'll send you that. Do you want to say anything before we go?
I just thank you very much. It was the first time I was doing something like that.
Good.
I was
Excellent.
quite under stress, but finally.
No, super. No, you were great. This has been a pleasure. It's really nice to see you. Thank you for showing us around, and we'll talk soon.
And I will follow you now for the travel.
Thank you. And thank your daughters for their Instagram work.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.